7-year-old India Sarju was going through the motions. In her hip-hop class, she could more than keep up with the teacher's routines, no matter how complicated. But something was missing. One day, India spotted 2 dancers in the next studio. Popping and locking, spinning and swiveling, putting their own twist on hip-hop steps. India knew it when she saw it. The missing piece. Freedom. These dancers had it, and she wanted it. It was exhilarating watching them dance at each other. A dance battle. As they corkscrewed, box-stepped, and made up their own brand new moves, India was determined to do what they were doing. But what were they doing? Breakdance, their teacher told her. You have to be 8 years old to join the b-boys in there, though. India was young, but she knew what she wanted. She was going to be a B-girl. After all, she was already the only girl on her soccer team. She didn't let things like her gender or age stop her. She'd seen her future in that class, and it wouldn't wait until she was 8. Breaking was calling her name. I'm Nola Klop, and this is Good Night Stories for Rebel Girls, a fairy tale podcast about the real-life rebel women who inspire us. On this episode, India Sarju, the determined B-girl from the Netherlands who thrives through breakdance, whether collaborating with her dance crews or battling for gold. Once she started breakdancing, BGirl India never stopped. For 9 years, she learned everything she could. She took inspiration from the black and brown youth who had created breaking across the world in the Bronx. From her home in the Netherlands, India tried out their moves and added to them, developing her own personal style. She would step to the rhythm, kicking and jumping, and then drop to the floor, spinning on her head, her legs like a helicopter above her. Handstands and spins, flips and twists, India would dance whenever she got the chance. Then, before she knew it, she was standing backstage ready for a dance battle, arms extended in a deep stretch, the rumble of the audience just beyond where she could see. After knocking out 2 rounds of competitors, only one person, B-girl Stephanie of Ukraine, stood between India and qualifying for a huge international sporting competition. Tears pricked her eyes, taking India by surprise. It's not that she wasn't prepared. Even when she wasn't training at her dance school, she was walking through her hometown of The Hague thinking about B-girling. She'd picture her opponent's latest innovations in her head, brainstorming how to one-up them, testing her new steps in the street. She thought, it's no exaggeration to say I'm non-stop working on dance. She did worry that the resources for breakdance in the Netherlands lagged behind other countries, but that wasn't what was making her emotional either. She was tearing up because of how much she cared. Breaking was more than just a sport to her. It was a culture as well, and an art. She thought of the chosen family she'd built over the years, her heavy hitters and hustle kids dance crews. And she thought of her biological family too, like her dad encouraging her to give her all to breaking. She was excited and grateful to be there competing, but that wasn't enough. More than anything, she wanted to win, for her country, her crew, her family, and herself. B-girl India centered herself backstage, focusing on the present moment. Then, the DJ dropped a beat. Her cue. Beneath a banner proclaiming her name and country, BGirl India swaggered onto the dance floor. Her chin up, feeling strong, powerful, and ready to go. She high-fived audience members, grooving to the music. The crowd rippled with excitement. They could see the confidence in her shoulders, in her attitude, and stance. India's eyes locked with B-girl Stephanie, her opponent. As they circled each other around the dance floor, India tried to keep her game face on, but she couldn't help cracking a smile. B-girl India had kept her plan close to her chest, not letting on what she was going to unleash today. But she'd studied Stephanie, learning her strengths and how to match them. Both B-girls put on their toughest faces and whipped out their best moves. More than intimidating each other, though, they were motivating each other. And India was motivated to win. B-girl India started with a bang. A forward roll, her head leading the way as her body flipped all the way over. No sooner had she rolled forward than she flipped back, landing on her hands, then careening in a wild yet controlled circle. She was quick and smooth, the steps lightning fast and sure to earn points with the judges for their ingenuity and precision. Her white sneakers flashing as her footwork awed the audience. India's world was spinning from all the dizzying turns. And then she landed. Upside down and backwards with one leg thrown over the other. A pose that looked effortless, but wasn't, of course. Sweat pooled under her baggy shirt. She froze, then stood, crossing her arms and nodding her head like, "Yeah, I just did that." B-girl Stephanie stepped up next, adding her own quick steps and twists. After Stephanie's turn, India answered back with a series of moves, executed almost entirely upside down, and a spin where only her shoulder touched the ground. The audience roared their approval. Then, almost as fast as it started, it was over. The B-girls anxiously awaited the results. As the audience counted down, India's insides were as twisted up as her dance moves. The instant she heard her name, she let out a triumphant shout, dropping towards the ground. She didn't hit the floor, though, because her coach and team rushed forward to lift her up. This win meant everything. At just 17 years old, B-girl India had secured her spot. She was ready to take breaking to the world stage. When B-girl India heads to the biggest battle of her life in the summer of 2024, she'll be competing with other girls and women much older. But maybe one day, she'll have a chance to compete against the men as well. She says, "Right now, I don't notice any difference between myself and a B-boy. I'm in the B-girl category, but I think I could compete in the mixed category on equal footing." As always, B-girl India is up for breaking barriers and breaking records. Now that she's got her eye on a gold medal, she says, "I already know it's going to be a big party when I win. Not if I win, when." This podcast is a production of Rebel Girls. It's based on the book series Good Night Stories for Rebel Girls. This episode was narrated by me, Nola Klop. It was produced and directed by Haley Dapkus, with sound design and mixing by Bianca Salinas. The story was written by Nicole Haroutunian, fact-checking by Eliza Kirby. Our executive producers were Joy Smith and Jess Wolfe. Original theme music was composed and performed by Elettra Bargiacchi. A special thanks to the whole Rebel Girls team, who make this podcast possible. Until next time, stay rebel!